Welcome everybody to this week's Peaceful Eating Q&A. I'm really happy to be here with you again. It's been a few weeks since I've done this weekly Q&A. I'm Vanya Fatidis, if you don't know me already, from Peaceful Eating, where I help people all over the world come to a place of peace and ease in their bodies. And every week I answer questions from subscribers or listeners, watchers, whatever you might call yourself, who send me questions. So recently I have closed my all my free Facebook groups. In fact, all my Facebook groups. I've closed them because for many reasons I'm not going to go into right now. So the way to ask me a question now, if you used to be in one of my groups, is to go to my website, peacefuleating.co.uk, find the tab that says Q&A videos, and you can submit an anonymous question via that platform. So please do that. I'd love to get your questions. You can also just show up here live and pop a question in the comment box. So far, I haven't been very good at figuring out the comment box, but I think I'm going to get better at it. So best, safest way is to send me a message via my website. But I will endeavor to get better at this comment where to find them thing. Anyway, so there are a couple of things I wanted to tell you before I get going with the questions that I have today. And there are two things. The one is an open letter has just been published yesterday, and I'm a co-signatory to this open letter to the UK government, which is talking about their obesity and better health strategy. It's a really, really great letter. It was written by Anybody UK, a body image charity, the Anti-Diet Riot Club, Nadia Craddock from the Centre for Appearance Research in Bristol, and Laura Thomas from the Intuitive Eating Centre in London. So I'm going to link at the end of this in the comments, I'm going to link the letter so you can read it. It's a really, really thorough letter, and share it with people. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing is that the Centre for Mindful Eating is having their annual auction, and it's on right now. There's some amazing things that you can bid for, one of which is coaching with me. So if you want to head over to the Center for Mindful Eating, again, I will put that in the comments, so I'll link it there and then you can go and check it out. All right, so this week I have got 4 questions, and just so you know what they are before I get into them, the one is about comparing oneself to other people's other bodies, comparing your body to other bodies, about fullness and whether portion control might be a helpful strategy to notice your fullness. Then there is one about what to do about weight loss that might come about as a result of intuitive or peaceful eating. And the last one wasn't really a question, it was more just a comment, but I had some thoughts about it. Somebody who has binge eating disorder and had some thoughts about how hard it is to have nice things in the house. All right, so let me start at the beginning. So here's the first question. I sometimes can't help that negative chitter-chatter that goes on in my head about my body. The school drop-off and pick-up is a real trigger for that. I've started trying to be kind to myself and tell myself I'm grand the way I am. You can tell she's Irish, eh? That's something I've noticed about the way Irish people speak, and I love that. So I tell myself I'm grand the way I am, but instead of focusing my negative thoughts about myself compared to the body perfects, you know, the people who have those ideal body shapes, I'm now starting to compare myself to the mummies with higher weights in an attempt to make myself feel better. I don't want to do this either, as I feel it's judgmental and doesn't feel right. I just don't want it to matter at all. Any tips or positive mantras on how I can get away from this? Oops. All right. Well, first of all, nice noticing. Really well done for noticing that this is what you're doing and noticing that it doesn't feel right to you either. And good for you for starting to be kinder to yourself. So those are two really, great things. I really do acknowledge that. And I think you should too. All right. So I think what's important to know is that when we are comparing, it's going to lead to misery one way or another. Whether you're comparing yourself negatively, that's the one we normally think of as causing misery. But what you've noticed is that even comparing yourself so-called positively is also not freeing you. It's not leading to self-acceptance. So when we're comparing one way or another, we are always separating ourselves from others. We are either putting ourselves down and others up, or we're putting ourselves up and others down. And either way, it's separating. It's not connecting. It's not seeing the true humanity in other people, and it's not compassionate, right? It's either not being compassionate to yourself or it's not being compassionate with others. So that's probably why it doesn't feel right to you. And yes, it is judgmental. And what you're pointing to is that when you're comparing yourself positively to people who are in bigger bodies than you are, what you actually are doing is reinforcing the ideas that smaller is better, more worthy, more valuable, more attractive, and that, bigger is worse. And, that kind of idea is causing the dysfunction in the first place. So what you need to do is stop the comparisons altogether and actually take your focus away from appearance, how you look, how others look, and bring your attention back into your body, how you feel inside your body. Just imagine you couldn't see. You couldn't see what you looked like, or you couldn't see what other people looked like. You could only feel your sensations inside your body. You could feel how you feel emotionally. And obviously you could think, but you weren't able to actually see. Try to kind of embody that. If that makes sense. So put your attention on the inside of you rather than on how you look or somebody else looks, or trying to be happier with how you look. Yes, of course, how you look is a part of you. But I think what sometimes can really help when we're doing this body image healing work is to draw the attention away from that. Instead of trying to be happier with how you look, put your attention inside on how you feel and spend more time there. Let me just see if there's anything else that I wanted to say. Oh, yes. So when you notice that you are slipping into judgment, simply notice it to yourself. Here's that judgment. Yeah, there's a judgmental thought, whether it's a positive or a negative, whichever way around it is, doesn't matter. Just, there's a judgmental thought. Recognize to yourself where it comes from. It comes from diet culture. It comes from beauty culture. It comes from the capitalist marketing machine, which wants you to feel bad about yourself so that somebody out there can make some money off it. So recognize to yourself where it comes from. Remind yourself that it's not your fault that you feel this way, but it is your responsibility to do something with it if you want to free yourself. And I think you do. So you asked for a mantra. You could remind yourself that all bodies are good bodies, that all bodies are deserving of dignity and respect. And that goes for your body. It goes for the higher weight mummies. It goes for the the people in all shapes and size bodies, right? All genders, all the range of sexual preferences, range of ability, range of color spectrum. Everybody is worthy of dignity and respect. So I hope that that helps. All right, let me get on to the second question. I've been fighting with my weight and food for the best part of 30 years. It has gotten so bad that sometimes the thought of going to the supermarket or choosing what to eat reduces me to tears. I'm still, if I'm honest, at a point where I hate my body and feel so desperate to just eat like a normal person. But at the same time, I've realized that all these years of being obsessed with these ideas and diets hasn't helped me at all. I'm working through the steps of what to pack for my peaceful eating journey. And by the way, if you are watching this and you're not on my list, my email list, what to pack for your peaceful eating journey is a very short email-based free course that you can get when you subscribe. So just FYI. So she says, I'm working through the steps of what to pack for my peaceful eating journey, and it is starting to click into place in my head. And I'm noticing when I have diet thoughts, great, and trying to be kinder to myself, also great. The thing I'm finding most challenging is listening to or hearing signals from my body about fullness. I'm wondering whether reducing my portion sizes, but giving myself permission to have more if I'm not satisfied would be a good strategy. Okay, well, I'm not going to read the rest of it because I don't think it's necessary for me to be able to answer this question. And what I want to say is really a great question, and congratulations on your progress so far. That's great to hear. So one thing that you could try, let me just see if my camera seems to go out of focus. One thing that you could try is before you even start to eat, maybe before you even see the food that you are going to eat, which might be difficult if you're cooking, is to assess to yourself, how hungry am I? So before you even sit down to eat, before you start eating, ask yourself, how hungry am I? Try to think of your stomach as what is a container, and try to think about how much food you think you need to feel satisfied. So fullness and satisfaction are slightly different things, but to feel comfortably full and to feel satisfied, ask yourself, how much do I think I need before you even start? And then serve yourself that amount. Now, you might be wrong. Okay, you're still learning how to gauge this. And sometimes I'm wrong too. You know, it's just not a perfect system here. Our bodies are dynamic, organic instruments. And so we're not always going to get it right. But if you have a go before you even start eating and then serve yourself that amount, you'll be giving yourself a good start. Now, you could do things to help you stay awake to what's happening inside your body. So you wanting to reduce your portion size is you're wanting to use that as a strategy to stay awake to how much you need. Because when that plate is empty, you then go, okay, how much am I still hungry? What do I still need, if anything? So so what you're looking for is a strategy to stay awake to how you're feeling and to the process of eating. So here are some thoughts. Are you eating with distractions? What is happening when you're eating? Are you working? Are you multitasking? Are you on your phone? Are you talking to other people, which is totally fine, by the way? What are the things that are making you not stay connected to what's happening inside you? I would address those things before I start thinking about controlling portion sizes or using portion size as a strategy to then check in with yourself. I would try to use some strategies to stay present with yourself as you're eating. So another thing you could do is you could, on your plate, divide the food in half. So make a break of the food in half, and then you could do the best to stay aware as you're eating. Like, are you enjoying it? What does this taste like? What are the textures? What are the tastes? You could really make it really interesting, right? About how it's feeling, and every now and again, just checking on it with yourself. How is this feeling to me? And then when you get to that break, you go, oh yeah, this is a break, and then you check in with yourself. If you might have fallen asleep, right? You might have, not literally, but you might have just lost your awareness. So then that would be something you could use to wake yourself up, to check in with yourself. You could divide what you've got on your plate into quarters, not so that you're trying to eat less, but just so that you're creating something a little bit different to help you to stay a bit alert to what is happening. So, in terms of whether or not you should use actually serving yourself less, it's possible that it could trigger diet mentality and deprivation. And it could trigger those old kind of, diety strategies that you might have been given in the past, to use a smaller bowl and use a smaller plate, etc. But maybe it would be a strategy that could help you. I think you would be the best one to know whether you think it would help. So, uh, it comes with a warning label. You might want to try some of the other things that I've suggested, and let me know how it goes. All right, next question. I would like to know how to handle any weight loss that results from eating mindfully and intuitively. When this happens to me, I subconsciously restrict because I don't want to regain the weight. And before you know it, I'm back to square one in the restrict binge cycle. Yep, I know that one. All right, so you really need to keep doing the work to let go of your desire for weight loss. And I know it's easier said than done. It's not easy. But think about it this way, if you weren't so attached to being smaller, then any changes in your body would just be, good to know. Oh, okay, there's a change. Moving on with my day. So it's because of the importance that it has to you that you are subtly restricting, and then you end back in that diet binge cycle. So what will definitely help will be a practice, a consistent practice of mindfulness. Because when we are practicing mindfulness, what we're doing is developing our ability to be aware of what is going on for us, our internal and external landscape. So what's happening in our minds, what's happening in our bodies, what's happening in our emotions, all of that becomes much more, it rises to the top. And when we can be aware of that, then we can intervene more quickly, right? It's like, okay, there's one of those weight loss thoughts. Oh, okay. Then you become aware of it, you notice what's going on, and you let it go. You let it go. You come back to your body and you ask yourself, am I hungry? How am I feeling? What do I need right now? And so on. And yeah, when you notice that this is happening, see if you can describe what is happening to yourself. Just like you would describe it's raining today, or it's been raining all day. You could just describe it to yourself as a factual thing. Oh, okay, there's one of those, there's a weight loss thought, got it. Not being annoyed with yourself or irritated with yourself, but perhaps actually giving yourself some compassion. It's like, oh, there's one of those weight loss thoughts that I'm noticing. And recognizing where it comes from. It comes from the diet culture, it comes from beauty culture. And then refocusing your awareness back on Am I hungry? What do I need right now? And what will satisfy me? What do I want to eat? So I hope that that helps that with that. All right. Okay, so the last question. I've been diagnosed with BED, which is binge eating disorder, and I've had a course of CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. I thought I'd be cured instantly, but it takes time. I struggle daily, having two young kids who always want food and a husband who asks me every evening, "What have we got to eat in the house? We can't have anything nice in the house because of you," is hard. So it is hard, and I'm sorry that it is this way. And it does take time, and it absolutely isn't an instant thing that you can resolve. Excuse me, let me just wet my lips. Okay. Oops. So um, you mentioned that you've had a course of CBT. Now, I don't know if that was specifically around binge eating, if it was with a therapist, or what the context was. But it is a complex condition, has complexity to it, and if you possibly can, I would suggest that you invest in more support with it. There's one thing that you say that is kind of ringing some alarm bells for me, and that is when you said that your husband says you can't have anything nice in the house because of you, because of your condition. So this is, first of all, I'm sorry that he sounds resentful of the situation, and that's hard to deal with. I mean, I can also understand that it would be hard for him to not be able to have what he wants. And this brings me to the point of, it sounds like the alarm bell that I mentioned. It sounds like this, that you are banning certain foods from the home in order to try to keep yourself safe from binging on those foods. And what is likely to happen, though, is that it's going to be probably triggering more binge eating because it's restricting. And in addition, it's getting in the way of your relationship with your husband. So what tends to help with binge eating is not trying to lose weight, not restricting anything, giving yourself unconditional permission to eat what you want when you want it. Obviously, trying to learn how to eat with attunement. So, learning how to eat when you're hungry, stopping when you feel satisfied, and trying to meet your needs in your life. Those things significantly help with binge eating. Obviously, eating what you want without guilt, right? Because guilt is just going to keep driving the cycle. So those are the things that are known to help with binge eating. Now, it could be that the reason that your original kind of that binge eating was originally a coping mechanism for trauma that you might have experienced in your life. And if this is the case, I strongly suggest that you do seek out trauma-informed therapy, and preferably weight neutral trauma-informed therapy for that. But it's most likely that even if you have had some kind of trauma history, that it's got mixed up with dieting and trying to lose weight. So that's why I say, somebody who is weight neutral, somebody who really does understand about this, but also has the trauma skills to support you. So I hope that helps. What I want you all to know is that, and I should have said this at the beginning, usually when people send me in questions, I do not know them, and I don't know anything about your history or background, where you are in your process. So please, this is general. These are general thoughts that I have in response to what I receive. So keep that in mind. If you sent in a question and I'm off the mark, send me another one. Tell me I'm the person who said this. This is actually the story, or this is where I am, or this is. Give me more context, whatever it is, and I'll try to do better for you. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for those questions. Please send in more questions. I really enjoy doing these. And I'm going to be doing them right up until early December, and then I'll take a break for a little bit. But we've got plenty of time, so please do ask your questions. Send them in to me, peacefuleating.co.uk. Find the tab that says Q&A videos and send it in. And if you want to find out more about this approach, the non-diet, weight neutral approach to our relationship with food and our bodies, head over to my website and download my free ebook. It's called A Guide to Peaceful Eating, and you can get it at peacefuleating.co.uk/subscribe. All right, take care, have a great evening, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.